championship games. The SEC on CBS, Georgia, Alabama, number 1 versus number 8. This is basically, it feels like, a play-in into the college football playoff. 5.5-point favorites are the dogs. 3 p.m. again on CBS. What are we thinking on this one? Because this is a game earlier in the year we were like, is Alabama going to get there? Is it going to be LSU? Now they've kind of gone on a roll, a little slip up last week, but they win the football game. That's all you got to do. You just got to survive. Don't overreact too much. What about this one? What about this one in Georgia and Alabama and how they match up?
Yeah, I want to take a look at just Georgia themselves and kind of who they've played close games against this year. It's teams that really can't decide what they want to be heavy on. Is it the pass? Is it the run? You had Brady Cook, who found some success against Georgia from Missouri and played them close. But then in other games, you play Auburn, and Peyton Thorne only throws 17 passes on the day. So it'll be interesting to see what Nick Saban comes out with. Will he be heavy McQuillan? Will he be heavy Jalen Milroe? Can he make those throws? We've talked about his consistency all year long. They're just coming off of a barn burner against Auburn, that they could have lost easily. But I think this is a good spot to go back to kind of what Reese and Jake were saying earlier. You don't really judge Alabama off of what they did in the Iron Bowl. Don't pick this bet off of what they did in the Iron Bowl, because that's kind of a different game. I mean, Auburn was a team rolling off a 31-10 loss against a group of 5 team. So don't look too far into that. But it'll just be interesting to see kind of what Saban comes at him with. It's 2 coaches that have been here a lot. I want to take Bama just for the sake of college football. I think it would be great for them to win this game and just erupt the college football playoff. It might screw Oregon out of a spot. It could mess up everything. So give me Bama plus the 5.5. I think that they can make this thing very interesting and win it outright. If I bet on Nick Saban and I lose, I can sleep at night.
When I talk about Alabama and like how to stop them this year, I feel like I'm a broken record, but like, can Georgia just shut down the big plays? Alabama ranks 57th in passing offense, but they're 15 yards per pass when they do complete the ball, which is, I think it's like top 20 in the nation. So when they do complete a pass, it's for a lot of yards. So can Georgia contain that? Auburn tried to spy Milroe last week. Didn't really work for them as much. I think Georgia's going to have a lot better success with that, just because I think they're a lot faster at the linebacker position than Auburn obviously is. And when I look on the other side of the ball, like that's where Alabama has been so successful this year, is when Milroe has been inconsistent, the defense always shows up for him with Downs, with Turner, with that entire defense from top to bottom. They're just really good. So how can their defense impact the game? That's where it concerns me, because Georgia's shown not only can they win running the football with Milton and Edwards, they've also relied on Carson Beck to go out there and win them football games for them. They rank top 10 in yards per game in the passing game. So they can win in so many different ways. I've stuck to my guns with Michigan, and I've stuck to my guns with Georgia this year. I'm not backing down from that. I took them 4.5 last week, so there's no hesitation with me. I think Georgia's easily the better team.
Reese, you and Perks, I think, have picks coming later on this, correct?
Yes, good thing you're in my.
Okay.
I mean, I already said mine, so I'll tell you that right now.
But
we'll leave the sunshine to Reese. I don't know which one he took, but we'll leave the sunshine for him.
Reese, do you want to talk about this game a little bit then? What you don't have to give us your pick, but give us your thoughts.
I just gotta have hand up for looking when I look in the mirror and be like, Reese, you stupid asshole. Why did you ever think LSU was not going to be, or why did I think LSU was going to be in the title at the end of the year? And I bet against Nick Saban. I don't know why I ever thought that. That's just hand up. Like, that's a mistake, Reese. We're not going to do that again next year. Learn from this. All right.
I'll say, sorry to defend you, Reese. I'll die on that sword. Like, Jaden Daniels has been astronomically better than Milroe this year. I was betting against inconsistent quarterback play, and I'll sleep at night. Like, sorry.
That's that.
That's a good point, Jake. Dude, if Jaden Daniels is the quarterback for Alabama,
if you give Jaden Daniels half the defense Alabama has, they would probably win every game by 20 this year.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, that's
just give him a living, breathing organism. Yes, I had LSU in the playoff as well. I had them as your SEC champion, actually, playing Georgia. But in this situation, has Alabama played this good of a defense? The answer is no. Has Georgia played this good of a defense? The answer is also no. But who's quarterback play and whose running back play and offensive line play do you trust more? Georgia's. Whose defense has kind of maybe not the names and the name brand and all that stuff, has been good all year through better offenses. I would say it's been Georgia's too, right? In some situations. Now you have your rebuttals to that with Alabama when they played Tennessee and a Missouri and a LSU team who's really good. But I think this Georgia team is just better in spots that matter on the offensive line, at quarterback, the ability to spread it out to playmakers on the edge. Outside of Burton, that's been 35-yard, 25-yard bombs trying to just blow the top off of a defense, right? Well, let's stay consistent on drives. And I think Georgia will be able to do that a lot better than Alabama will. I have Georgia in this one, ATS. I think that's who wins this one. And I think they go probably number 1 ranked into the college football playoff. And then we'll talk about that when that comes out. But I'll go with Georgia there.
Hey,
What a great spot. What a great spot for the SEC to SEC. How many times have we said conferences are going to conference? The Pac-12 is going to Pac-12. The Big 10 is going to Big 10. This is such an SEC spot for Alabama to win this game. And somehow they both get in.
Yep. And you know they will. Depending on what happens around the country, you know they will. There are situations where I would say, no, they shouldn't. But here we are, right? This is a situation we find ourselves
I want to
in.
hear one of the situations because I'm thinking if Alabama wins, they
good.
jump from 8 to 4. And then if Georgia wins, there's no question. So what's the
if
situation?
Alabama wins, they're jumping to at least 2. At least 2.
Mm-hmm.
If not 1.
Yeah, they are.
Alabama
you
is
move
going
Michigan to 1.
But if
Michigan,
I don't
Bama.
know, dude. If Michigan wins, when Michigan wins and if Washington wins, wouldn't they be 1 and 2?
No.
A one-loss
They're just supposed to
non-champ.
avoid the rematch?
A one-loss non-champ in Georgia would not jump an undefeated Florida State, a one-loss Texas, or a one-loss Oregon.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting about Florida State.
Yep,
They're
that's
still in
important.
there, huh?
Reese?
We'll
if
get to it.
Texas, if Bama wins and Texas gets, how do you put Bama in over Texas if Texas wins out?
Because it's a
How
college
does
football
head-
playoff.
You say if
How does
Alabama
head-
loses
how-
or wins? What did
No,
you,
if Alabama wins, Georgia
Yeah.
loses, so Georgia's out of the thing.
they're
it's
both going to be in, is
Texas-
what I'm telling you.
Texas and Alabama, but I'm saying like if there's an argument for like Texas and Alabama, like who should be in? How the hell do you take Alabama?
At some
Like,
point,
how does
these games got to
head-to-head-
fucking matter.
How does head
right?
to head not matter? How does
That's what I'm
head-to-head
saying.
not
At some point, these games got to fucking matter. So they're both
Yeah.
in.
Yes.
If Alabama
My-
wins, Texas wins, they're both in. The end of
My-
discussion. There should never be another thought on it.
My devil's advocate, though, is if you look at who Texas lost to, it's a team that didn't make a conference
Fair.
championship, and then Alabama lost to a team who's in their conference championship. That would be my devil's advocate. I don't
It's
agree
fair.
with it.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah,
fair
you could
argument, though. But then you could point at Alabama's
Like-
play throughout half the season, over half the season. They didn't look
But
like the team they do now.
Feinbaum and them's argument to keep Texas out and have to have Alabama in. That makes no sense to me. Like
Hey, here's your
This-
problem.
there's-
You're
there's-
listening to
there's
Paul
no hype-
Feinbaum.
I'm just saying I'm not saying it's a video that went on fucking Twitter or whatever, but like I just don't get how you can, because we always have these hypotheticals. Oh, if this team played this team, then this would happen. These teams legitimately played, and we saw the product what happened. Texas beat this team. There is no hypothetical.
In Tuscaloosa.
It happened. Yes,
In
it happened.
Tuscaloosa. So, hey, another rabbit hole. We are jumping down so far right now, and a couple rabbit holes throughout this
Conference
episode.
championship week.
It is. And next week's going to be just as fun. Let's jump to the ACC. We were just talking about